Good evening, welcome to episode 5 of Man Cave Metal Mayhem. My name is Wayne, for those of you who haven't been here before, and for anybody else returning, thank you for coming back. It is appreciated as always. So this week it's been business as usual at work. Not done much in the evening. I did take Friday off, so I've had an extra day to do some tidying up and get some bits and pieces organised. Tonight we've got some footage of me doing some chuck maintenance. There was going to be some welding, but unfortunately that went a bit wrong. Weren't my cleanest of jobs, weren't the nicest of jobs, so I'm not putting that up. It's a little bit grim. That's about it really. Having these on video, and you know, it's kind of a challenge for myself to keep focused on what I'm doing. Sometimes, like I say, I will get distracted and wander off. So yeah, this has helped me. I've got a few jobs done that I haven't, you know, got around to doing recently. It's because I want to move on to other things that I want to video and all that kind of thing. So I just want to say thanks. I've not got many subscribers yet. I'm getting some views. It seems to be going upwards and upwards and upwards. In response to last week's question about how you guys mount your cameras and stuff, so far if you look that general direction, which I'm not going to do, you'll see that above my lathe there's another camera mount that's basically a stick screwed to the shelf with a C-clamp and a selfie stick at the right angle. There'll be some more of that next week, because that's the next step of the Mox and Vice flanges. We're going to put them on there, tidy them up, get rid of some of the rough edges and things like that, and see if I can grind out some of that welding before I do that, because it's truly hideous today. I don't know whether the sticks are a bit damp or whatever. It's been a while since I've done any welding with the AC buzz box. Just basically the most basic weld you can get, and it's all I can be bothered to set up today. Other than that, not a lot else going on. The weather's started off nice today, but then turned a bit crap. I think it was trying to snow earlier. One thing I nearly forgot there, when I was in Frankfurt last week, bloke from work, Mike Mason, he asked me to give him a bit of a shout out, and I didn't because I didn't get time, so I'm giving him a shout out now. He's leaving our company at the end of this week, so officially he's dead to us. But if you want to speak to Michael Mason, he's into French baguettes, washing up and getting drunk. He's a bit of a lad, he's alright, yeah. And yeah, he definitely likes baguettes, let's just put it that way. Anyway, on with the videos. If you like what you see, or even if you don't, just for the sake of my stats, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, all the usual jargon, and I'll see you around. Cheers, bye bye. Right, so what we have here is a 4-jaw chuck for a metalworking lathe. As mentioned in the intro, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take this apart and clean it, because I don't think I've had this apart since I actually bought it. And one of the first things you should do is actually take it apart and clean all the bits of swarf from the manufacturing process out as much as anything else. However, I didn't get around to doing that as I had a job on at the time, and I think it's not really stopped since. So a bit about the chuck. It's a 4-jaw self-centering scroll chuck, which means that when you turn this bit here or the other one on the other side, what happens is the scroll wheel in the middle, which is that bit there, goes around and all 4 jaws move in and out concentrically. This is not an independent chuck where you can move each jaw individually. I do have one of those. That'll be for another video. I've already taken the jaws out and obviously taken it off the lathe, and I've got the jaws soaking at the moment in some brake cleaner just to get all the muck and crap off. What we're going to do now is we're going to basically get some tools down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take it to bits. Take it, turn it over. Let's have a look at the back. First thing we've got to do, 3 bolts. Right. Take these out and put them to one side. Let's find a little pot we got somewhere. I've got a little something there, yeah. Okay, so this shouldn't be that on there that tight, but it is. So let's get a persuader. Just knock off the register ring. This is the part that basically allows it to mate with the spindle on my lathe. You can get different back plates. I could put this on, you know, I could put this on other lathes if I had different back plates, but for my boxwood lathe this is what I need. We'll clean that up in a bit, put that on the side. So inside the actual chuck itself, we've now got several bits here. These are the holes that we're holding the back plate on, as you can see. These two holes here holding the retaining screws for the spanner recess, you know, where you turn the spanner. These hold them in so they don't just keep popping out. You've also got 4 flat screws here which hold in a plate which keeps in the actual scroll chuck itself, the actual scroll plate itself. So screwdriver, let's get them out. Just take each one out in turn, put them somewhere safe like I'm doing here. Just keep them in a pot. The last thing you want to do is be lose stuff. These things are not, the screws might be cheap, but the things they go into aren't cheap, and you won't always be able to find a compatible screw. Alright, and then get oh, that one's a bit stiff. What we might need to do is just give that a bit of a persuading. You shouldn't really use a screwdriver for this. There it goes. Just loosen it up. Gently persuade each side to come out. That will just quickly pop up. Ooh. And once you do that, you can turn it over, and what you can sometimes do then is just push it out from the other side. There we go. So let's move that out of the way. So what we have here is the back plate, which has got some grease on it, but it's not too bad actually. It's a bit cold at the moment, so grease goes a little bit stiffer than usual anyway, unless you use some kind of weird and wonderful specialist stuff, which I don't. I use a cheap nasty garbage. Right, so we need a slightly smaller screwdriver to take out these next 2 screws. Let's have a look what we got lurking around. Looks like a nice small screwdriver. Like I say, these screws hold in the little they almost look like the ends of a chuck key. They're full of scroll. I mean, they'll work in the same principle. There you go, holds that in. It just basically goes into a recess down the side there, which you'll see in a minute. Let's get this other one out as well. They're nothing fancy, they're just pins that hold stuff in. And then these will just pop out. Like that. As you can see, they look a bit like the end of a chuck, drill chuck key. And all they are is to drive that scroll around when you turn the handle. As you can see, you've got one for each side. And what will happen is when you turn that handle, the scroll will move around. Let's put them in there. We'll clean up in a minute. Clean them up in a minute. Now, let's have a look at this. This thing's got a lot of grease in it. What you should probably will do is pop that round there. Get something that isn't going to damage the scroll. Something with a plastic end or something like that. Oh, perfect. What I have here, let's just move that camera slightly. Yeah. Pop a point pencil. That's not going to hurt it. Just keep pushing down till it comes all the way out. Ooh, and don't try not to get that stuck. Right. That is one piece. That is the main bit of the chuck. That is the main casting. Okay, as you can see right through it there. Look. Okay. And what this chuck has also got is for oiling that scroll when it's in place. It's also got a little oil hole just there. That's just your bog standard ball oiler. Popping a bit of 3-in-1 in or whatever, just keep the scroll lubricated. So we've now got our chuck dismantled. The 3 main parts of these are the bits we're going to clean first, and this stuff gets everywhere. I need to put some gloves on. But you've got the backing plate, the scroll, and the actual body of the chuck itself. The little bits we'll clean up in a minute. Best thing we can really do, I think, is to get some more brake cleaner. Just let them soak in it for a bit and then come back to it. You could sit there scrubbing, you could. I mean, we've probably got to do that with this big bit anyway, but yeah, because that's a bit too big to be soaking. But these bits here, we can find a pot for them and just soak them in a bit of brake cleaner, get some of this old grease off, get some of the, you notice all the swarf and bits of metal rattling around in here. You'll see them fall off the chuck and as we clean them up. I don't know whether that'll come up on the camera, but you can see lots of metal shavings in there. These all need to come out. These all need a very, very good clean. Let's move that around a bit. These all need a very, very good clean. So we'll get a pot now, put them in the brake cleaner. Right, back when they've had a bit of a soak. Right, so I found something that was big enough to do everything, including the main body of the chuck. I got this from work actually, out of the kitchen, catering size tin of something, could have been whatever, I don't know. They all look at me funny at work when I bring these things home, and I'm like, well, I find a use for them. It's called recycling. Anyway, so for those of you at work, this is why. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the main bit. Just going to drop that in there. Put that in there. And I'm going to put that in bit there as well. All we're going to do with this, literally, you know, no messing about. We're just going to fill it up with some brake cleaner. This brake cleaner was about £5 for a 5 litre tub, so I'm not overly fussed. This is lasting me God knows how long. This is the most I've ever poured in one go. I have no idea whether this stuff is flammable or not either, actually. No, you didn't check that. Yeah, it is flammable. We'll just fill that right up. We can also put, when it comes to taking stuff out, we can also put some of this brake cleaner back in another bottle. It's a bit dirty now, but it will still act as brake cleaner. There you go, brake and clutch cleaner. Flammable, kills fish. Maybe fatal if swallowed. Well, I don't intend drinking it, so be careful when you're mucking around with stuff like this. Put gloves on. Yeah, wash your hands afterwards. All the usual safety stuff. Keep it out of reach of kids, all that. Don't muck around with it. There's a lot of fluids in a workshop that can cause some serious problems. This is one of them. Alright. So I'm going to go and put this back down. I'm also going to chuck the other 4 jaws that I've got. I've got a set of internal and external, you know, holding jaws for bigger things. I've got one set soaking in a little tub. I'm going to chuck these in with this lot as well, and then come back to it when they're done. Right, see you in a bit. Right, so welcome back. It's now, I'd say, about 2 hours later. I was only intending to leave things in for an hour, but somehow got roped into cooking dinner, so it was steak, so I don't mind. I like to cook my own steak. Anyway, sidetracking. So what we're going to do now, I didn't bore you with the cleaning part of it. All that is lots of prodigious use of a brush, tissue, Scotch-Brite, you know, just get all the filings and old grease and all the rubbish off of there. They're now bare metal, clean metal. Now what we're going to do is put it back together. Start with that bit. When you're mucking around with grease, always use some rubber gloves. These are the kinds like the tattooists wear, or surgeons, or people that just want to check your prostate, which we're not going into. Anyway, so, right. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put the scroll back in there. Before we do that, we're going to get a little bit of molly, assuming the lid ever comes off. Ooh, you pig. I haven't had this open for a while. Ooh. Right, bit of molly grease. This is just basic molly grade molly grease. It's just car lube really. It's just grease. It'll do a good job down in the bottom there, keeping that lubricated. Just a bit on my finger. Just run a bit round the bottom there. Just to mainly do the sides. You use oil on the actual scroll part of it. This is just to keep things moving. Right, and what we'll also do is we'll stick a bit around the edge of this. This is just to help it slip down as much as anything. It's not so much to lubricate this part. Like I say, this bit here has oil put in. That's what that oil port on the front's for. So now, as you can see, can you see that there? That's better. Right, so what we do is we just drop that in, push it all the way down. That should move fairly freely, which it does. Excellent. Right, so now what we do is we put these little bits back in. You just slide them. Better put a bit of grease on them as well, actually. Bit of grease in there. Bit of grease around the hole as well. Won't hurt. Push that in. Push it home. Same with the other one. Oof. Same with that. You don't need to go too berserk with these here. These, like I say, this stuff is pretty good. You don't need a lot, and you don't want it to be slipping around everywhere anyway. Push that one home as well. Perfect. Right, so now we're just putting a bit around the teeth in there. Just keep things nice and moving. All right. Next thing we're going to do is put these, put this here plate in. What we don't need to do with that is put in the grease, because this is just to retain everything, so that can just go back on there. Thus, right. Let's see if I can put this in. Put these two bits in without. We could actually take the gloves off now, because I'm not going to be mucking around with any more grease for the moment. Let's just give that a bit of clean up. Bit of rag, tissue, whatever. Right, so we get our 4 little screws that we took out earlier on, pop them in. Oh, moved, that's it. Just put them all in, but don't tighten them up yet. Just get them all in first and then go around afterwards. Do, 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 do. I do that a lot in my videos, don't I? Sorry about that. Give me some tunes you want me to hum, and I'll do it. They're all likely to sound the same though, because I don't know that many songs unless they're heavy metal. That's where the metal in Man Cave metal comes from, not the actual stuff I use in the shed. The only reason you can't hear the radio now is because I don't think YouTube likes you having it in the background, you know, when people are playing. You know, I listen to Planet Rock, and obviously there's a lot of well-known music on there that you probably have to pay for. You get the idea. Right, so that's that. Next thing we do, 2 bolts here that retain the spanner, you know, the bits that look like the drill chuck key. We used a different one for that, didn't we? Because it weren't wide enough, didn't we? There it is. You don't have to lean on these, just as much as they were before, which was about hand tight. Perfect. Now, before we whack the plate back on, let's give it a bit of a wind. Let's turn it over on its edge, give it a bit of a wind, see what happens. Oh yeah, it feels a lot smoother. If I hold this up to the camera, you can possibly see the scroll going around. That's how it keeps everything in place. The jaws all have teeth on them, but they're designed in such a way so that when you put one on, wind it on a bit, put another one, wind it on a bit, another one, wind it on a bit. But yeah, you'll see that when we put it back on the lathe. I put it back on the lathe before I put the key, before I put the jaws back in. Right, so last thing, put the back plate on. This stuff's gone everywhere. Yeah. Right, so next thing we do is you put the back plate on. Now if you look at the edge, that's fine one. Where are we? Number 3. That will line up with a number 3 on here. So that is why you line up. That is how you line up the back plate. So you line up the numbers, because what you don't want to do each time is change the orientation, because it might wear itself in when you buy it brand new. It's just come out of a factory. So what you want to do is you want to measure up, match up all of these each time. So if it wears in, you don't have to compensate for the wear each time. You know, it might wear into a certain point where if you change the holes you use, it might not be concentric, it might not be centralised anymore. Put these in, and then it'll be time to put it on the lathe. But that is going to be a job for tomorrow, because it is getting chuffing cold out here, and I need to go walk my dappy hound. He's probably already throwing a fit in there as it is. Just pop all these in. Don't do them up tight just yet, just get them all in first. Then just give each of them a good nip. And that's it really. Let me put the lid back on this grease. Next job will be to put it back on the lathe, but because I need to sort out the camera mount and everything like that, which I'm not going to freeze my man parts off doing tonight. What I shall do is I shall pack up tonight and I shall get set up for that in the morning. I've also got some welding to do tomorrow, so it should be good. All right, catch you in the morning. Good morning all. Right, welcome back. As I said last night, what we're going to do now is put the chuck back on to the lathe, put the jaws in, give it a whirl, make sure it's all working right. Nothing too fancy, and a bit later on there'll be a bit of spot welding. So, roll sleeves up out of the way. Right, so the chuck that we cleaned and assembled last night, as I said, has a backing plate that fits onto there. So very simple. Always put down a board or something like that, so in case something drops it doesn't hit your bedways and marks them, because that will seriously screw things up. So very simple. Wind it on, make sure you don't cross thread it. Alright, that's now on the stop. Now that feels like it's on, but it's not. That's quite deceiving. What you've now got to do, I'll put some gloves on as well because that metal's a bit cold. Like I say, this metal's a bit cold, so I'm going to put some gloves on just to... It's okay to wear gloves in situations like this because the machine isn't on. Don't wear these if you're sanding or whatever, it's just asking for trouble. What we also need now is the key. Because what we're going to do now is, on this lathe there's a spindle lock which stops it from going around. Because what we need to do now is wind this right back so it hits the register ring. Because if you do it like this, if you leave it like this at the moment, while it's on there, well, it feels tight, but it's not. It's got to go back and hit the register ring to get it registered and make it flat, make it concentric, make it flat, make it so it doesn't wobble like a dog's knob all over the place. So all we're going to do now is just wind this on using until it stops going round anymore. There it is, that's home. No, it's not. I was just hitting something else. Keep going until it won't go any further. because that way it will be up against the register plate. That is home. Right. Perfect. Right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go get the jaws for this, and then I'll show you how we put them in. Back in a few. Right, so here we are, back here again, ready to put the jaws in now. Basically how this works is each jaw is numbered up and goes in its corresponding slot, which is also numbered up on the actual chuck itself. There's a 1 on here, there's a number 1 on this jaw, and there's also a number 1 on the chuck here. So what we do is, quite simply, we get the key, where we'll put the key, drop that in the slot, and then you wind it on a little bit. There you go, until it gets to a certain point. That's it. And you move around to number 2. Now what happens is these, like I said yesterday, all these teeth have slightly different corresponding teeth on them. They'll all line up a little bit differently, so that when you put them in, they line up. They all scroll in concentrically. Let's just wind that in a bit more. Take that back round to there. There's also another thing there you can do. Right, the next slot, number 3. I've already put a bit of oil on all of these, so that'll just help them move in and out while you're doing this. It's always wise to do that. Yeah. Just take that back a bit. Yep, there. Right. Oh, I didn't oil number 4. So, put oil on number 4. Not as much as I've put on some of them other ones. Jesus. Too much. Oh well, it'll come off. And then once you've got the last one in, key in, they should all wind in and meet in the middle. So just do that to test it. Of course my hands are very slippy at the moment. And they are exactly as we need it. All meeting up in the middle, perfect. So now what we'll do is we'll just wind that round to where the little ball oiler is. Wind that carriage back a bit. A bit of that there. Now what we'll do, wind that round, that will distribute the oil around the scroll. There we have it, that's it really. My hands are so slippery, let me get some tissue. And that's it really. The teeth will now wind out. Damn, it's a lot smoother than it was before. Should have dismounted this when I first got it. Just wind it back in and out. Bring it back again. That's now good to go. Give everything a bit of a clean up, get rid of any excess oil. Don't want too much because it will just attract swarf. You want the swarf when you're cutting stuff to fall off in down into the centre here of the blade. You don't want it sticking to stuff. You want it to stay out of the way. What I should have also mentioned is before it went back on the spindle, I did actually clean the threads and make sure that the taper bore, the MT3 taper bore in it, that's the hole that goes through the middle, has a special taper on it for holding other tools. Make sure that's clean, got any no gunk in it. Make sure you've blown it all out. Other than that, she's good to go. Let's give that one more whirl in and out. Make sure everything's happy. Clean the key of oil because I've got this crap everywhere today. Oh, so smooth. Oh, that's the best that's ever been. One of the jobs that will come up for this now, when I get a bit more time, is I've never ground the jaws. And by that I mean when you've got something round in there. These are precision tools, yes. But if you put a bit of bar in there or whatever, just, you know, that for example, so you can pop that in there, it might not be 100% concentric. And of course, this being a self-centering truck, you can't apologies, I'm breaking these teeth from somebody else. It won't be 100% central some of the time. It'll be like 100th of a mil or a couple of 100th of a mil or whatever. If you want to take that out, what you can do is you can run a grinding stone on the end of a drill down inside here and grind the teeth as the lathe goes round. And what it does is you apply a bit, you preload the jaws by putting like a ring around it or wedges inside here, so you've got a bit of pressure on, because that will give you a prop one. And you just take a little bit off each jaw and it gets it perfectly concentric. That'll be another job for another video, because I've not got a tool post grinder set up for that yet. Other than that though, she's back on. Looks happy. Let me change the belt, give it a quick spin. Oh, it's a bit cold again this morning, so we'll drop it down to a slower speed to start, and then she'll gradually warm. It's not overly massively cold today, but it is cold enough. So what we'll do is we'll just close everything up, make sure everything's good, nothing left anywhere. It should gradually come up to speed. Chucking a bit of oil out at the moment, to be expected. Don't get into the habit of running these with the jaws open, nothing in the jaws and the jaws open. Just do it for a few seconds, just to any loose oil fry stuff up, which he was doing. Not bad. Anyway, that seems to be happy. What I'm going to do now is sign off, go get myself a cup of coffee, because it's one of those days, I just feel like another coffee. And what I'm going to do is do a bit of a spot welding. What do you call that? Spot welding? A bit of spot welding? I don't know. Anyway, right. See you guys in a bit.